today we're going to run you through the second part of a qualifying video this week, and that comes from the free to play account, so a bit more closer potentially to what you are running. And this is the car that we were running. Pretty happy with this so far considering, and the big thing for us this week is we already have Fernando Alonso at level 4, so he becomes just over level 5 with that 10% boost, and we're going to be looking for some more point scoring this week. As always, Aston Martin team event will be entering Champions GP, and fingers crossed we can get closer to the top 10 and hopefully no disconnect either like we got last week. So with that in mind, let's kick it off in the first race, which comes from the very tricky Melbourne. So here we go. Are we in for something better this weekend, or will everyone around us purchase Alonso and Stroll from the crate look? And will it be even more difficult than before? This will give us an indication. And already we're not starting at the back. We've got Alonso in P21. So it's not too bad on that one. Obviously, tyre management is still going to be a bit of an issue for us. We can't really run a 4.4 medium. It's going to be pretty tough. So, instead, we're going to sit and run some softs. Rooster and Prince, I want to test this partnership out. So I want to see how many points we could potentially score. And that's what we're after. We're after them better starts, and that's what's going to get us the most points. It's a good start for Fernando Alonso, and already up into P13. Massive moves. P12 now for Fernando, and even into P11. That's what we're missing from our account, this big race start boost. And you can see the difference. Leclerc 18, Fernando Alonso now into the top 10, already on lap number 1. Charles Leclerc on the Ferrari power unit, struggling compared to the Aston Martin. And look at Alonso all over the back of the rivals. Alonso's up for it more than the others. We've got Ocon ahead. We've got dry weather. And look at that, Alonso passed Ocon. We've got Sainz and the Aston Martin ahead, both squabbling. So hopefully we can catch them up and give them a push. We've got Leclerc behind Fernando as well. And look at this, building up. And look at that, Alonso on Ocon. Beautiful move by Fernando. And Leclerc still stuck in that train of cars. Not looking good for him. Just shows you that a good race start will get you out of the pack and a bit of freer air. Alonso now 3 cars ahead, currently stacked up against it. Leclerc takes Gasly up the inside. Didn't look like a move there, but got it done. And because we can't push on the softs, we're going to come back for mediums. Alonso is in. Leclerc will be coming in as well. Will we double stack? It looks like there's a potential chance. About half a second. And for once, we're out ahead of the pit lane chaos. And we'll now boost to try and catch the rivals up front. P19 and P22. As Alonso looks at Albon, takes him. Where are we going to finish? I've got to be targeting 20 plus points a race. Got to be with running level 5 Alonso. In theory, obviously with the 10%. But it's not going to be easy still. Can we get Gasly here? No, we can't. And now we can. Didn't even have to push him. Alonso is through. P12. Leclerc looking at Albon. Looks like he went to go around the outside there. Doesn't look like it came up. And he didn't. Still stopped behind the Williams. Fernando Alonso on Yuki. Job done. A few people pitting as well. That's going to put us into P8. And Leclerc P14. We're stuck behind Sainz. Oh, Alonso gets done there. Big time. And we're going to have to come back for softs. We are not going to service. We don't need to. We're not going to be pushing the full stints. So just under 50% should be sufficient as Alonso heads into the pits. Where are we going to finish in this race? Comes out P15. Better than the usual account, that's for sure. P19 for Leclerc and P14 now for Fernando Alonso. It's got Stroll and an Alfa Romeo in front. And I tell you what, Alonso's going to take both of them up to P12. Alonso better than ever. And on a medium boost, pushed past 2 cars in one corner. And that sets us up for P12. And Charles Leclerc getting embarrassed by Fernando Alonso today. Leclerc moves up to P18 with Ocon ahead. Ocon and Tsunoda, who's now behind. So last lap we're on. Started to push now as well. Can't get past Gasly right now. Alonso looks like P12 for him. What about Leclerc though? Can we get one more? We can. We're passed into P16. Can we get P15 on the hard tyres? About to run out as we approach the line. No, we can't. It is going to be a solid 22 points for our first race at Australia. So we move to Canada. Now usually Canada and Australia are 2 very difficult tracks for our drivers and car setup. So by scoring 22 points at the first, we've already improved a fair amount. Usually we're down in the 10-12s and we're starting P18 and P20. Tyre strategy. I don't want to use all my good boosts, so I think a tune in with Leclerc. And let's try and see if we get a perfect start with Alonso. That'll be interesting to see. And let's find out as we got a real player. Now this will be a good indication as to where we are. Can we get off to a good start? So lights out and away we go. It's a fast start for Alonso, poor for Leclerc. That's why we struggle with level 4 drivers based on their race start. But already 16th and only 20th for Leclerc. We've got P15. So Alonso's doing that 1 stop. Leclerc's doing the 2 stop. We're going to see if we can just eke something out here. Into the hairpin we go. Always a good place to push, and that's why P15 and P18. It's not the most amazing start, but we gained another one there with Gasly. And we go nearly around the outside of Zhou Guan Yu. Our old Alfa Romeo teammate needs to let us past, and that he does. P13. The reason we're using tuning is 2 stops on Leclerc. We've got slow pit times. I want to help that as much as we can. Ocon next. And Charles Leclerc holding us up. Charles Leclerc struggling to find traction. Coming out the hairpin. And we're going to try. Now we're going to pit Leclerc for the nice early undercut. Just to see. Because at the minute we're stuck at the back. He comes in and comes out 24th. He's got soft tyres of Gasly ahead. Be tricky to overtake him. As Alonso rounds the hairpin. Can Leclerc get past his soft runner? The answer is yes. P23. We've got Alonso up to P9. That's looking good for him. Russell comes out the pits. And Leclerc moves himself up to only P20 at this stage. Alonso all over the back of Norris. And Leclerc's in some heavy traffic. That's not going to help us too much. Alonso on Norris. can't get it done either. So we're going to conserve and come into the pits as Leclerc takes two cars up to P18. Where's Alonso going to feed back out? Looks like about P17, P16. So that will take that. Trying to go round the Alfa Romeo yet again. Stuck behind at the moment. Alfa Romeo of Valtteri Bottas this time. Come on, Leclerc. Prove your Ferrari strategic doubters wrong. We can put a good strategy in at Ferrari drivers. At the minute it's 14th and Alonso just losing out to Alfa Romeo. We're going to try and gain that back though. It was short-lived, but we're back. We've got no power unit at all for Charles Leclerc. That's not good. We're going to try potentially do this without servicing. A lot quicker pit stop. But let's give it a go. How quick will this pit stop be? 3.4 seconds. And can we get ahead of Gasly on the pit exit trick? Doesn't look like it. Yes, we can now. P16 for Charles Leclerc. P12 for Alonso. This is looking okay with Alonso with a decent amount of power unit left. As we've got one lap to go here in Montreal. And there's another move by Leclerc. 20% servicing left though. We can't push too much, but he's up to P14. P12, P14 with a little bit of lag at Canada. And suddenly we're looking okay here. We've got Charles Leclerc in a bit of no man's land now. He'll struggle. Alonso up to 11th. But I think we're going to survive. I think we're going to take 11th and 14th. And it certainly looks that way. It's 14 points for Alonso, 11 for Leclerc, and it's 25 points at Montreal. A massive result for us here. The great Brazilian track in Sao Paulo. Interlagos is up next. Race number 3 of this qualifying session. Can we continue in the 20 points range? And we've not got a bad start. It's P20, P22. That seems to be our highest, give or take a few positions. We're not going to really jump up from there. We are going to try a 5-4 with Fernando Alonso. And with our Charles Leclerc, we're going to do a 3-3-3. Usually we would try and do a 5 medium, 4 medium, but we haven't got the tyres. So we're racing in Brazil. We need a similar-esque Lewis Hamilton absolute blast from the back to get us some big points. And I tell you what, hard tyres or not, Fernando Alonso has worked himself up to P10 and P9. Brilliant start. Now remember, we are going to go backwards quite heavily when we stop pushing. Wow, P8 for Fernando. That's our issue. We want to get as many places as we can and then be prepared to watch us fall backwards. And already Charles Leclerc up the hill past us, and Charles Leclerc ourselves struggling. But let's see what we can do. I think we'll be okay if we can just keep maybe top 15 by the time we pit. That would be okay. We're stuck in some traffic though here, so I think we might look at... Oh wow, look at that for a bad thing. We're definitely going to look at an undercut and pit lap number 2. Be Charles Leclerc in at P19 on the softs. We're going to go for softs again. Probably should have done mediums. Probably should have gone to lap 6. We can only do lap 5 here and then come for mediums. We probably wanted to avoid that lap 5 pit. That's what we didn't think of there. Maybe I've done that wrong. Maybe it's a little mistake in Brazil, but Alonso, we said we wanted P15, is already P15, and make that P16, that hard tyre, simply not working in Brazil. But with pit stops, we're back into the top 15. You can see ahead, P13 there. Oh, look at that, we're just so slow on the hards. I've got Leclerc up to P20. And actually thinking about it, these two are going to pit lap 5 both times now. We're in trouble. Oh no, we really messed the strategy up here. I've got Alonso P12, Leclerc P15, and not too far apart. We're going to have to probably cut Charles Leclerc down for power unit and try and create the gap. Yeah, a bit of a mistake here from myself. Will we get away with it though? We're already in the pit box. And we're definitely going to lose about 2.5, nearly 3 seconds for Charles Leclerc. Yeah, bad luck there. That's not what we needed as we come back out. And we can start motoring though. P19 already for Alonso. Leclerc sitting P22. No more pit stops during this race. And we've got some people pitting as well, so we're going to make them positions. It's P15 for Fernando. Oh, just holding on. Bit of traffic jam. Goes up the inside, or the outside rather, of Piastri to take P14. And now sets his sights nice and easy on Alfa Romeo. Valtteri Bottas is our next hunted down driver. P13 for Fernando. No pit stops left. Leclerc, P19, trying to close the gap. We need some pit stops. There is one there. We move up to P8. Or lap 8. Definitely not P8. 13th and 18th. Any more room for some points? Nico Hülkenberg easily taken care of. Leclerc's got the Williams, McLaren and Alfa Romeo in front. Bit of a chaos down here, not easy to get past. And he's right behind Logan Sargent. Alonso P11, good move. Leclerc now finally into P17. And Fernando Alonso up to P10. Decent moves, and there's Leclerc with one more. Hangs it out to dry like the washing. Keeps his place. P16, P15 now. Up the hill we go with not much power unit. Alonso finishes 10th and Leclerc is going to hold on for P15. Bit of a rough strategy, cost us in the end, but it's still 25 points to take away from Brazil. So here we go. The last hurrah of qualifying, race number 4 in Baku. We've got a wet qualifying, which certainly we don't want a wet race. That could make it very, very difficult for us. So fingers crossed we don't get that. And at the minute, dry race, that's good because the AI do a one stop and we will not be able to do a one stop with these drivers. Soft and mediums is the choice of our drivers. We're going to go Rooster because we've got 240 left. And I want to test Baku on these drivers. So here we go. Last race. Alonso, Leclerc starting right behind one another. And it's a perfect start for Fernando Alonso. That is beautiful. Can we make the most of it? Here it comes, and already P17. But we haven't got to the main overtaking part. That's coming up now. And we'll push both. We've got P15 at the moment with Leclerc P21. Alonso, can he angle out for a move? No, he can't. Nearly loses one. But does get up to P14. Alonso and Leclerc, 14 and 21. As you notice, that 10% boost, Leclerc just can't live with it. Always down the back. Whereas Alonso always fighting mid-pack. So far from what we've seen. P13, P22. We're going to try and keep these positions. We're going to try and attack this middle section. Look at that, Leclerc, P23. Not good. Alonso, though, P12. Angles for Russell. Gets the job done. Leclerc. Oh, well, that's a big crash. The rival Alonso sticks the rival Yuki Tsunoda, I think it was, into the wall. So Alonso on Tsunoda. And that brings out the safety car here at Baku. Drama on lap number 2 in Azerbaijan. And we're going to take full advantage by taking up some fresh mediums with rain potentially incoming towards the end of the race. So we're about to get racing then. We're just about to launch off safety car in this lap, and we're racing again at Baku. And as you can see, 27 seconds to go. Rain is on its way in at Baku. We've got Alonso in P13, Leclerc P17. We need to get some positions. We need to create a gap. And already Alonso back into P12, into that scary situation where Yuki hit the wall just a time before. And we've got P11, P10. We can pull one in this lap, or we can carry on. 5% rain so far. We're going to bring one in because we're running so close together. We're going to continue with Alonso, who's in P8, looking at Kevin Magnussen, and now looking at his mirrors because he's gone past him. Alonso needs to get a move on in the hope that he can gain some positions. Leclerc never feels like he gets out of P22, and that's where he finds himself right now. But Alonso's up to P6. He's looking pretty good, but only rain to last 30 seconds. So it will get drier towards the end of this race. As Leclerc making his way through these dry runners now into P18, Alonso finds himself P4. Have we done a masterclass on the strategy, or have we not? Leclerc comes down, will now come out the pits. Chaos in the pits. Leclerc goes through to take P13, P12. We've got Alonso P13. It's going to be tricky for him to gain some more positions, but we're trying. And we've got Leclerc now into the top 10. With some iffy strategies out there for rivals, Alonso takes P11. And we are on to some good points here in Baku. Rain favours the brave. And we certainly have been that. P10, P11. Trying to save a bit more attack juice as we get Hulkenberg in to take us up to P8 and P9. One car ahead that looks like we could potentially get. So we could end up P7 and P8. We're now going to push to see if we can close that gap. Is there any more room? Looks like it's going to be a tough ask. 17% and reducing track dampness. It might just be P8 and P9 then that we do finish off this race. We are trying. We can see Ocon right there, but I don't think we're going to take him. And Leclerc does come across the line to take P8 with Fernando Alonso back in P9. Some decent points on offer. 33 points at Baku, and that is a massive amount. And I reckon that will take us over the 100-point mark for one of the first times in qualifying. Let's check it out. Let's find out as we go back to the leaderboard. Pretty successful qualifying. Some learnings to take as well. And it does. 105 points. 4 races done. And that all started off with taking 22 points in the race 1, and then 25, 25, 33, and improving right to the end. So fingers crossed that is a good qualifying session, and we can have a good opening round and final round and look to get back towards the top 10.